Hello everyone, welcome to my video. In this video, I will be talking about an interesting topic of advanced microeconomics, which is called the pure exchange economy. So let's get started. To understand this topic, at first we need to understand the Edgeworth box. Let's assume a society consists of two individuals and two goods. Okay, so the x-axis denotes the consumption of good 1, and the y-axis denotes the consumption of good 2 for the individual 1. Then the individual for the individual 2, the x-axis denotes the consumption of good 1 and the y-axis denotes the consumption of good 2. We are also assuming that if individual 1 is consuming x1 unit of good 1, then the rest of the things will be consumed by the individual 2, and if individual 2 is consuming x1 unit of good 1, then the rest of the things will be consumed by the individual 1. Okay, so now we have an initial endowment point E and another allocation point x1 and x2. We have to find out the most efficient point so that the society's welfare is maximized and no resources are unused, so that the everything is properly utilized. Now the consumer 1's indifference map slopes northeast and consumer 2 slopes southeast. So it is obvious that if we move from this C point to that C point, the satisfaction level for the individual 1 will increase, and for individual 2 it will decrease. And if we move from this C point to that C point, the satisfaction level for the individual 2 will increases, but for individual 1 it will decreases. For every point on the in the Edgeworth box, one indifference curve of each consumer passes. So we can see that each indifference curve is passing through other, right? And we have also some points that are tangent to each other, like this one, that one, and that one. So these tangential points are known as the efficient point. Okay, if we draw a curve by adding all these points, we form a contour curve. Okay, so what is the contour curve then? The contour curve is the locus of all the tangential points. Okay, so points on CC, mutually beneficial and inefficient allocation. So all the points on CC are mutually beneficial and efficient allocation points, and points of CC, like other points than CC, are not efficient. They are inefficient points. Okay, now we have several conditions for the equilibrium allocation. At first, the feasibility. Allocation must lie inside the Edgeworth box, right? So it is obvious that the equilibrium point must lie inside the Edgeworth box. Unblocked. Consumer 1 blocks point left on IC through E. So here it is obvious that if we move from initial endowment point E to the left, then the consumer 2's satisfaction will increases, right? But consumer 1 satisfaction will decreases. Similar case for the red line as well. If we move from the right of the red line, then the satisfaction level for consumer 1 will increases, but for the consumer 2 it will, satisfaction for consumer 1 will increases, but the satisfaction for the consumer 2 will decreases, right? So any point left to this blue line, so consumer 1 will blocks all the points, right? And any points right the red line will be blocked by the consumer 2. It is obvious because consumer 2 is not having this utility, right? Equilibrium must lie in land-shaped region between IC. So the equilibrium must lie between this land-shaped area. If you see carefully, that if we move from initial endowment point to along with this curve or along with this curve, it is either, either one individual 1 is better off or individual 2 is getting higher satisfaction, but no one is worse off, because let's consider the red point. If we move from here to there, then the satisfaction for the individual 2 is same across the points. But if we see the perspective of individual 1, the satisfaction is increasing, right? We are getting a new IC curve here. Satisfaction is increasing. So this can, it is definitely an unblocked position. So that's why it is saying that equilibrium must lie inside in lens-shaped region between ICs. Okay. So here another point is not all points in the lens are equilibria. Okay, so we have so many points, but not every points are in the, are equilibria. Bundle 1, not a trade equilibria. So this is the bundle 1. It is not trade equilibrium. Why is it so? It is because we have better options like B and D. If we see the B point, we are getting a higher level of satisfaction for both of the individuals, right? Because both are getting higher in difference curves. Bundle B both better off than at E, but not efficient. Yes, B is definitely better off, better than the bundle A. Bundle D efficient equilibrium, no further Pareto improvement, Pareto gains. So if we see the bundle D, it is the tangential point of two indifference curve like this one and this one, right? So and it is also lie on the contract curve C. So this is our condition for the Pareto efficient point, that the equilibrium position must lie inside the lens shaped area. So it is the necessary condition, and it must also lie on the contract curve. This is a sufficient condition for the equilibrium. Okay. So here Pareto efficient allocation equals to no one can be better off without making someone else worse off. So we have seen this condition here, that it is the point or Pareto efficient point, because from other than this point it is not possible to make someone else better without making other worse off, right? Like if we move from here to there, then in the consumer 1 is getting higher satisfaction, but consumer 2 is not. So this condition is not possible to gain, right? Similar for C, it is not achievable because consumer 2 is getting better off, but consumer 1 is getting worse off, right? That's why consumer 1 will block this point and they will stay on the D point. Resources are allocated in the most efficient way possible. Here in this point like D, the resources are properly utilized. So no resources are in raw resources in the society are unused. Doesn't imply fairness or equity. So this is very interesting point. If we see this graph and consider two extreme cases like this point and that point, if we consider that person 1 is getting all the goods and person B is getting nothing, it is also efficient point because it is a part of the contract curve. From the society's perspective, it is the society's welfare is maximized, although there is inequality existing in the society because person B is getting nothing, right? So um, so it doesn't imply fairness or equity. Okay. Then the mathematical formation. So mathematical formation is saying that we have to maximize either individual 1 or individual 2's satisfaction, okay, by keeping the other individual's satisfaction same as endowment point, okay, and the feasibility must be less than equal to the initial endowment point, because we have seen that and the resources are should be properly utilized. Okay, no resources should be unused in the society. So that's all for me today. Thank you for watching.